Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. It's a new day, another opportunity. I always say to either make money in the market or to learn from the market. And it's an interesting day. Let me say that. But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And the stock market is just one of those avenues. This video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX. And as you can see, this is the 30-minute time frame. It has created a gathering spot for us, and I like to mark those levels, meaning if the VIX get above this 5 EMA here, which is at 1832, it could very well, retest this, let's say 1850, which is a 50 EMA, and right there at the 20 EMA. Now it needs to break through all of that in order to reach this ATR trailing stop, which is at 1922, and that's to the upside. If the VIX goes up, that means the SPY is going to come down. And at this point, it's kind of like we really don't know or really can't tell. So that's why we have to wait on the market and allow it to, give us a signal as to what it really wants to do. It seems like it's trying to break this. And again, this is the 30-minute chart. Now, it can come down and test to 1775 and bounce from here, which is the 200 EMA. But it looks like it's really trying to climb back to this upside here. So I would say be definite. I would always say just be careful at that area, right? So let's look at the SPY really quick. The SPY is doing the same thing, creating a gathering spot. I have those levels already marked at 497.47 as support and 498.25 as resistance. SPY would definitely need to break above the 498.49 in order to, break to the upside. Can it? It can. Let me say that, because we're right here at the 20 EMA finding support. So kind of like trading in that zone. So y'all, today is one of those days that we need to definitely trade carefully, because if the SPY decides to break to the upside at the 498.49, that ATR trailing stop, we're going to have trouble at 501.23, which is the 200 EMA here on this 30-minute chart. So again, I always say trade carefully, trade cautiously, right? That's something to be mindful of. And let's look at it on the 1 hour. To the downside, if we break where we are now, which is right at that 497.38, then we're going to have trouble at 493.58 at the ATR trailing stop on the 1 hour. And looking at the MACD, it's kind of flattening, like, we could very well continue to the downside. That 50 EMA is what's really stopping us, on the right here at the 498.33. We're having issues in this area here. So if it breaks beyond this, we can come up to this area 505.61, or if it breaks below this, our issue is going to be at 493.58. That's something to be mindful of if you trade the SPY. I always say, y'all, trade carefully, watch your charts, watch your levels, right? So we do have a couple of inside day candles. AI is one of those. I'll give the targets for that. If AI breaks above 21.35, then the target is 21.40. If it breaks below 2054, then the target to the downside is 2045. So that's AI. Boeing is an inside day also. The inside day to the upside, if it breaks above 172, the target is 172.04, which is not far away, right? And it looks like we're headed to the downside. So if it breaks below the 169.65, which we have already tested that here, if it breaks, come back and retest this area, then the target to the downside is 169.28. And Carvana is another inside day candle. If Carvana breaks above 72.24, the target is 73.25. If it breaks below 69.47, the target is 69.25. So those are inside day candles. And I always like to go and look at AMD. AMD is creating a gathering spot for us. I have the levels marked at 146.87 as support, 146.66 as resistance. We are under the 5 EMA, so the MACD is flattening. It looks like we're trying to head back to the downside. So to the upside, it will need to definitely break this 148.66, but we have trouble at 149.56 and the 149.84. So AMD would definitely need to break above those levels in order to go back to the upside, knowing that we're going to have trouble at the 157.25. Now, what do I see for AMD? It could very well come back down. To me, the whole market just looks different, like it really wants to trade to the downside. But you know, I always say trade what you see and be careful. Right now on this 4 hour, it's creating a gathering spot for us. Again, it would need to break above this 148.66. I would say trade carefully. AMD moves about $7.33 per day, and look where how close we are. Looking at it on this daily chart, how close we are. 145.29. We are very, very close to this 200 EMA on the daily chart. So I would say again, trade carefully if you trade AMD. And Tesla is interesting. So we are looking at Tesla on the daily chart right now. We know Tesla moves $7.56 per day. We are under where we closed, 146.05. Last I checked, we were at the 141 range. We tested the 140.22. That's important. So I need to be mindful of that is a low that we could very well come back and break through and test again. So I'm going to watch Tesla at this level, but it looks like Tesla is in a decline. We had some downgrades and some price target cuts. So that's an interesting thing. But you know, Tesla is Tesla. It can bounce at any given moment. It has earnings tomorrow. I say trade carefully. And I did have the gathering spot marked, but it looks like we have broken out of that to create a new gathering spot. So Tesla at 142.55 to 143.80 was our gathering spot. And right now we're just declining. And as you can see, the MACD is moving down. It's under the 5 EMA on this 30-minute chart. Tesla could very well just continue to the downside. I say trade carefully on this 1 hour. Our MACD is crossed to the downside, so we are headed in a down to the downside. I did have a level marked, and it seems like we've already touched that level right here at 143.64. We've already tested that level. So I would say if you trade Tesla, trade what you see, trade carefully, watch your levels, if you're using the moving averages, watch those. But it looks like everything wants to trade to the downside. Let me say that. And looking here at the SPY, we're back at that still, in that gathering spot. So everything is interesting today, y'all. I would say don't rush into your trades. Pay attention to, what your charts are showing. And if you don't know how to read the charts, it's okay. It's like putting a puzzle together. I always say that one piece at a time. So I would definitely start with the direction of the candles. What direction is it going, and how is it moving? Is it moving sideways? Is it moving up? Is it moving down? Those are things to pay attention to when you're looking at your charts. So right now Tesla is declining. It is continuing to the downside. If it breaks below this 140.22, I definitely need to put an alert here to let me know that because Tesla is one that I try to look at on a daily basis. If it's under this level, then I need to know that we have broken through a level of support. So y'all, listen, I am very, very grateful and thankful that you've taken the time to just watch these videos with me or learn with me. Let me say that this is how I see the market. And again, today is going to be an interesting day. I would say don't think that just because it's going down now that it can't reverse and go back to the upside, because that's far from the truth. The SPY is still hanging here at this 50 EMA and 20 EMA. So if SPY breaks under the under this 496.67, we can continue to the downside, and that 493.58, which is the ATR trailing stop here, is going to be our area of let me watch the SPY, because we could very well come down to this area if we break where we are now. So again, I always say trade carefully, trade cautiously, watch your trades, and if your trade goes against you, it's best to get in and get out versus stay in a losing trade that's not working for you, right? And that's one of the things that I had to learn. It's okay to take that loss in order to make that gain. That's something to be mindful of. So y'all, I hope again that these videos are very, very helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that everyone have a very, very profitable day. And I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.